The Arctic tundra is the northernmost biome in the world. It covers the lands north of the Arctic Circle up to the polar ice cap and is situated in many countries around the world, like Alaska, Canada, Greenland, and more.
In fact, the tundra is the main biome. The Arctic tundra is one of 3 subbiomes, including the Antarctic tundra and the Alpine tundra.
The Arctic tundra typically gets less than 25 centimeters of precipitation annually, which means that these areas are also considered deserts.
These regions have long, cold winters, with the temperatures in the summer ranging from -3 to -12 Celsius, and in the winter having an average of -34 Celsius, but dropping as low as -50. On average, only 6 to 10 weeks of the year have sufficiently warm temperatures and long days for plant growth.
The soil in the Arctic tundra is mostly permafrost, or soil that remains frozen year-round, leaving only a thin layer of thawed soil in the summer for plant roots to grow in. Tundra soil is also scarce in many nutrients that plants need to grow.
As well, the ground in the Arctic tundra tends to be very rocky because the decomposition rates of plants tends to be low. And despite the lack of trees, this biome is still considered a major carbon sink, as there are large amounts of organic matter found in deposits of peat and humus. There is generally a very high level of wind in the tundra. Wind speeds often reach 48 to 97 kilometers per hour. Cold air will rush down from the North Pole and sweep through the tundra. As well, there aren't any trees to slow down the winds. Additionally, the prevailing winds are the polar easterlies, and it is found in the polar cell between the poles and the 60th parallel.
Most of the tundra's sun exposure touches near the poles. In summer, the sun is visible above the horizon 24 hours a day for 2 to 85 days, depending on latitude. In winter, it can be seen below the horizon 24 hours a day for up to 67 days. The sun is received at oblique angles of 41 degrees on average. Fun fact, for 2 months every year, the sun isn't even visible over the horizon.
Because of the cold climate and short growing season, most vegetation in the tundra tends to be herbaceous. For example, cotton grasses and mosses, such as reindeer moss and lichens. The few woody plants which live in the tundra, such as dwarf willows, tend to be short and spread across the ground. All of these plants are adapted to withstand the tundra conditions. The summers in the Arctic tundra are the only reason why these plants are able to survive.
In terms of fauna, animals in the tundra are also adapted to extreme conditions, and they take advantage of the temporary explosion of plant and insect life in the summer. Tundra wildlife includes small mammals such as Norway lemmings, Arctic hares, Arctic foxes, and Arctic ground squirrels, large mammals such as wolves, caribou, and polar bears, and birds like the snowy owl and penguins. Most of these animals like to build up stores of fat to sustain and insulate them through the winter. They also have thick coats of fur for farther insulation. Some save energy by hibernating during the long winter months. Others migrate to warmer climates during the winter. Located to the east of the Arctic tundra is the Amundsen Gulf and McClure Strait, and across Nunavut is the Hudson Bay area, which is actually the second largest bay in the world. It is also bordered by the Arctic and Atlantic Oceans and has all kinds of lakes, ponds, rivers, streams, and wetlands flowing through it. However, climate change is beginning to pose a huge threat to the wildlife already living in the tundra. Animals like the red fox, for example, that are normally found further south, are moving north onto the tundra because of its increase in temperature. However, this means that it will now have to compete with the Arctic fox for food and territory, making the long-term effects on the survival of the Arctic fox unpredictable.